Hi, here we are at the Pine Haven weekend, and we're going to go ahead and get started for the craft. This is what we're doing, and hopefully yours will turn out just as beautiful. You have some wonderful things in your box that came, and this is what you're going to end up doing. This is the replica of the chapel, and that what came in your jar was this moss, some greenery, some buttons, wire, and some ribbon. And so you're gonna unload it with the ribbon, the wire, the buttons, and the moss, and you're gonna have to divide it. So what you wanna do is take your buttons and divide them and make 3 separate little piles. And then you're gonna wanna do your wire, and then you're gonna wanna put your moss, and you're gonna hot glue the moss into the bottom of the jar. But maybe you don't want to use hot glue, or maybe you don't want to just use moss. Maybe you want to put something in there like some chips. Maybe you want to do something a little different. Maybe you want to do seashells in the bottom of the jar. This was from a trip out in California when we saw some friends out there. Maybe you want to do some ribbon, or this was some fabric that I had extra. And then you just put a little moss on the top of that. You can do that. Here's some old spools. We have lots of those, don't we, Leanne?
Yeah.
We do. And then this is a rock that I picked up over in England. And so they didn't know I picked this up over at Oxford. I'm not telling them, but don't tell anybody else. So, I also have a lot of little wood things, and so I just threw them in there and have that, and then you can put some moss on top of that, and then here starts my little button thing. Or maybe you have a lot of buttons like I do, and you could put them in there, and then here we start our little project. So you can do anything. It doesn't have to just be the moss in the bottom of the jar. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to divide my buttons, and then we're going to go work from the bottom to the top, and the bottom is the biggest, then you work to the top. So you're going to make a shepherd's hook, and if I remember right, all your buttons came on a safety pin. Ours did not today because I didn't want to do that. And so you're going to go from the biggest one, stack them on top of each other.
This way or this way?
However you want to do it. I stack them all together, and then this is how I do it. And then I go just like this. I stack them, and then I line them up. I don't know if you can see this, Connie. And then I line them up, and then I feed in the other hook. And so this is how I get I call it my shepherd's crook in there. And then I kind of
So the biggest should be on the top.
well,
Look.
I put it at the bottom. I call this the bottom.
Oh,
You did
So
it
that's
right.
how it goes in the
Okay.
jar.
Okay.
This goes in.
Because this goes in like this.
okay.
Okay, and then I'm going to slide it up to the top. You see that, Maribon? Your grandma taught.
I love my
Oh,
grandma.
that's
I love
awesome.
her so much as a mother.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
What a lesson.
She was alive all the while my children were
Isn't
out of
that
high school.
great? Oh,
My children. You got something that I could pull this tighter?
yes. You got your big one on yet? Pull your big ones on.
I got my big ones on.
Yep. Let's pull all of them on, and then that kind of gives you leverage.
These are so huge.
They're probably expensive to be made.
There we go. And it just kind of snaps it on. Okay, so now we're on to the next step. So the next step is to fill your jar. Are you ready for me? Okay. The next step is to fill your jar, and this is part of the messy stuff. So we're gonna do it with this Spanish moss, and you either got the green or you got this white stuff, and this white stuff is wood shavings, so you can either do it with either one.
It's called
Or-
Excelsior.
This Excelsior, that's, yeah. Thank you very much, Miss Laura.
Do I get an A now?
You do. Or you can do, if you want to do thimbles, you can do that, but they got to be hot glued first, before, otherwise they slide around and it doesn't stay. So you can do whichever you want, or if you want to do poker chips, don't tell your mom. She'll frown very much at me. So you can do whatever you want. So y'all get to decide whatever you want. I know that you
I
guys,
want to do the green.
you want to do the green.
do
Okay.
what?
You want to do green?
Green's fine, green's fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna hand
She's
you,
got the shavings and other ones, isn't she?
you can do whatever you want. This stuff is hard to pull out. And you don't need that much and it smells weird. So just so you know.
Just
So
shove
if
it in there?
Yeah, and if it gets to be too much, just, you know, yeah, that's good. And if I didn't send enough, stretch it. In the bag, stretch it out,
Thank you.
put some, make it stretch. Or fill it with a paper towel in the middle, or put a paper towel roll in there. Yeah, it does smell, doesn't it, Maribon?
Oh, I lost part of mine here.
Oh. There you go.
I kind of got into the buttons.
I know, you're still working on your buttons, aren't you?
No, I'm helping you so you can do
Yeah.
them more than one.
Okay, so we'll do this one. I'm gonna just flop them in there. Okay.
This stuff is all kinds of it in Florida. And I brought it home.
Oh, you shouldn't pick it.
You should, it's full.
It's full of bugs.
So I called my.
It's bad.
So I called.
We have greenery now. So now this is where you start stuffing in your greenery.
Do you put the ribbon on first or no?
Nope,
No?
put the greenery in, and this is where we need the hot glue gun. So, so I take little chunks like this, and I cut them in half, and I just start laying them in there, just like this, and I glue them in.
You do glue them in.
I do.
Okay.
So we'll need to go over to the glue gun station, and then
And the
just
glue gun station is right there.
right there. And we'll just glue them in.
Do you want me to plug mine in?
Yeah, that'd be great. And so I just glue in random bits of the pine bough or whatever these are, these little greenery pieces. And I just start putting in 3, and then I put in 2, and then I put in 2 more until I get a good little section. And I try not to overfill it because I want my buttons to be the main thing,
Main focal point.
okay? So that, I want them to stay, but I start with the bigger things first.
Thank you.
And they don't, all the pieces do not have to be exactly the same. That's the nice thing about it, is this is very random, which the way nature is it's very random. When you go out in the forest, it's not perfect. And especially at Pine Haven, not everything is perfectly symmetrical. Not everything, I mean, there's parts of it that are set up perfect, but parts of it is, it's the way God designed it. So when you get ready to glue everything in, you're gonna want a hot glue or Elmer's glue, whichever you have. You're gonna wanna cut this, because I made them long enough. You're gonna wanna cut this down from the
I'm gonna leave these here. So
9 inches or the 6 inches once you get it done. And you're gonna wanna hot glue them in to your bouquet.
Okay.
So that they stick up prominently to your thing. They don't really stick up prominently here, but I was a little overzealous. Let's make them stick up more prominently.
That little one that one just got plugged in, so I don't know if it's ready yet.
We're just gonna give him a haircut a little bit. And so that's what you can do too, is with COVID, we didn't get very many haircuts, so now they are. See, this one's not even glued in. Now he sticks up prominently, so. The ribbon and then this little thing. In your packet, you received a little replica of the chapel. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna color that if you so choose. And so what I did is with a color pencil, I colored it, the chapel white, and then I did some trees. And so what we're gonna do is do a green and a blue, and then the white and the brown, okay? And so we just take this and we color it green, blue, white, brown. For the ones that we have extra of our jars, and so I had these little ornaments, and so I'm just gonna put this is my father's world on this little tree and hang it on the outside of the jar. And so I'm just gonna get a little marker and write that on there and then give them as gifts to the people that have been in the nursing homes or our infirmed people that from our church. So, and let them know that we still think of them. Because we can't visit them right now, but we want them to know that we still love them. So, okay? Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wind this ribbon around. Well, it's actually a string, and we're gonna wind this around the jar, but you have to thread the thing you just colored, your little ornament. But you wanna kinda have that be in the front, so wherever the front of your jar is, but we're gonna wind this around your jar maybe 5 or 6 times. So make sure your string or your ornament ends up in front. So put your ornament on it and then wind your, or we can just tie it on after we get.
So should we put it like in the center?
That's how I did it.
And then just
start winding it on, or we can tie it on separately.
so when you say winding it, you mean just go around like
Yep,
this?
that's how I did it. But if it's too much of a pain, we can tie it on separately. Sometimes it's a pain.
Here's one sitting that isn't.
And that's how I did it.
And then just tie
and
it?
then just tie it. Yep.
I decided to go with the red.
You did. Instead of the blue.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
How you changed?
Okay. Have the glasses on. Make sure that's tight enough. Okay.
Good job. And now, see, you can even do another one
Oh, yeah.
in
I
the
could
front.
have. Okay.
So we can do a surgeon's knot, double tie it right there, and then do another one. And then we'll trim the edges.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. See what I'm doing here.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay. Okay. Well, I want to thank my helpers today that helped me work on this project. And I want to thank you all for working on this project with me with the Pine Haven Mature Adult Weekend. And I'm so glad you could do this with me. Thanks.
There. There's a. Thank you.